we've become really hooked on templates and the speed that enables your production process. Like having different, depending what genres you produce, we're like delving in multiple genres. So we have different templates for every genre that essentially has, you know, preset sidechain stuff, sometimes premixed drums, just the quickest way to get like what you need done out immediately, so you don't have to worry about setting up your whole rack, setting up your whole chain, and like taking like an hour, I would say, probably, if not more, to get it set up proper, or just have some messy, sloppy thing done. You have everything ready to go. So we're gonna go over our template right now and show you guys what we how we roll. We essentially color code everything in our whole rack, so you can see on our mixer here. They got this new mixer and Reason if you're not familiar. But the drums are green, like fills are light green, bass lines are red, melodies are purple, pads and stuff are dark blue, and samples are light blue, and then rises for like sweeps and builds and stuff are this wheat color.
And you'll notice there's some channel strips that have like clicked on return channels, and some of the faders are like not at unity. That's because I loaded in some drum samples on the drum part. Can you scroll over to where the green is, the drums? See how the fader, they're all sort of like, it's all pre-mixed. So because drums, for this template, this is like a sort of a hip hop template, the drums are pretty much going to be the same. It's like, especially like the kick drum. And I kind of have them all dialed in, and they're all like routed to where they need to be, and all side chained correctly, so I don't have to worry about the side chaining. I mean, I might have to do a little bit of dialing in depending on what goes down, but the amount of dialing things in that I'm gonna have to do compared to if I just started everything from scratch is way shorter. And this way, it cuts a lot of time out of my workflow, so I can focus on what's important, and that's making music and being creative.
You can always replace the sounds afterwards. Like if you just have the generic stuff that you're working with, you're working with, you have your clap, or you have your snare, and you have your kick, and you don't necessarily like that timbre of that sound for your certain track. Obviously, that's going to be sort of the finishing, the icing on the cake to when you're working on the track. But this gives you enough of the foundation to be able to essentially finish your whole track and get started immediately, and have your, like you saw when we first started, we had a beat going in less than 5 minutes. So that's really handy when it comes to workflow, I would say. And it also translates into our actual rack workflow too. Everything goes linear and down through here, and every channel has its own thing. The kicks, we have our compressor in here, our EQ, everything's side chained, and everything's all pre-wired. So you're just like really ready to go as far as anything you would need to do this. Your 808s are set up, melodies, everything is set up, and you have side chain on everything. So like you pretty much can't really mess up when you have a really solid template as far as getting your initial idea out.
And if there is like a mess up or something, I find that like the template is actually stopping me, what I'll do is I'll make a note of that to myself. It's like, oh, I found myself doing this thing. Wouldn't it be cool if this was just already happened? And then I would just update the template. So the template is kind of in a constant state of flux. Sometimes I go ham and change the template a lot, and I won't update it, and I won't send Dylan the right template because I just had this new idea or something like that. But that's pretty much a good thing to keep in mind when you're doing your template. Your template's probably going to change maybe once every like 3 or 4 months, because especially if you're learning, you're growing, you're going to learn new things and want to incorporate new things in your template. And I really think templates are important, because especially if you want to like make music fast, that's how I make music fast. Another thing, you'll see that there's like all these colors. The reason why I'm going so hard on the colors is because if there weren't colors, like I would probably lose my mind. Like the organization is a really important thing, and sometimes I'll be seeing sessions from like really top tier producers, and the organization is just, I don't even know. Maybe I have a weird brain. I just can't handle all this crazy stuff. But I feel like it's really important to organize and have everything labeled. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, just being able to see everything out. And like Reason has this really cool feature now where like, I'm not sure if other DAWs have this, but like you can do a block feature. So you could literally line up your whole track, and you could be like, oh, I have my intro section here, and you can sort of story write your session. That's why I really like Reason, because it's very visual and very tactile.
Can you show that thing? So all those sections I made, like Reason, it just says block 1, block 2, but in the template I saved it so the template has all those down, because those are the kind of groups I need to do. And say if you were making your own template, you can kind of do what you want to do, and they have different colors. so I can just quickly block out a track. And what's cool about what Reason is, it makes the whole like session like that color, so you can quickly see like where you are. I think other DAWs have something similar to this, but they don't do the color things. This is something kind of exclusive to Reason, which to me I feel like is kind of like a deal breaker, because I kind of just know where my track is, and arrangement is really important. I mean, just look at this. Like I feel way more confident now, like making a beat, because I kind of know where to go, and that's part of the template.
And you can like pre-songwrite out your whole track basically with this, and know where you need and like what you need to fill into what spots. Because if you're saying if you're going to do this much, or this is your idea, you have your main groove already done, and you can figure out sort of like how you want to design your record with this sort of flow. And I feel like we do this almost on every record, depending on if it's a linear production or if it's a groove-based production. It's going to end up with some sort of like plan like this, and it obviously is modular, but kind of the flexibility to be able to see it and know where you need to bring stuff in just makes it like, I don't know, it's just like, it's like seeing without even needing to see.
And just to reiterate, those names are all custom names. Like you can name them like whatever you want. Okay, so press you press B, and then it goes into block mode, and then you could just like say like DJ intro. And then if you want to do the next one, click on that little arrow thing, and then you just choose what it is. And then if you right click on it, that's how you change the color. I know Ableton has like a marker feature that's kind of similar to this. You kind of just put markers in, and I'm pretty sure you can save a template with your markers. And I think Logic has something like that, and I think you can color code in Logic. I know Pro Tools has something. I just don't remember if Logic had one with colors.
Yeah, no, Logic has one for colors for your different channels, and then you can put your markers on top to draw out where you want.
Yeah, because different DAWs have different systems, it might be good to spend time figuring out a way to sort of hack the DAW to make it, do the thing you want to do. Because Reason has this color code system, I'm utilizing it. But other DAWs might have some other features that you could see like, oh, this would be really good for a template. Let's utilize that.
Yeah, I can open up like one of the older tracks here. And as you can see here in like the session, like if you were to have everything color coded with like your bass and stuff, if you didn't have a bass in a certain section, you'd automatically know, because it would be like, oh, I have no red in that groove, so I'm missing something, or I'm not missing something. I'm specifically choosing not to have it in there. But the visual aesthetic of being able to tell what you have where, I think is really helpful as far as engineering the whole record.
Yeah.
And being able to see that.
So if Dylan produced a track and just sent me the session, because he's using this format, I'd like instantly just looking, if he just showed me this for the first time, I'd be like, oh, okay, so at 33 there's bass line. And from 1 to 17 is the intro, and I just be able to know what's good. And I'm pretty sure you can do, see how like all the clips and MIDI are color coded? I think you can do that in Ableton. I'm almost positive you can make like MIDI clips and audio clips in Ableton different colors, and I would recommend doing that just so you know where you are. And everything's labeled. There's no like audio 1 or anything like that. I know it gets tedious, but you're gonna thank yourself later if you just label everything. Like, please label stuff.
The way we route it right now in this setup is we just have a stock piano, and then we have just we have here a Reese layer, which is this is not the right template, by the way. Let me pull it up here.
Oh, that was a track. That track was actually built with a template.
Yeah, and so we have a Thor, which is a synthesizer, and we have a sampler here, and essentially once you're in here and you've got your creative design, for me personally, I'll probably start out with the drums and the chord progression, and then I'll deviate from this to find different sounds that I like. Or if I'm starting off a sample-based record, I'll start with that. But I usually don't stay constant when it comes to the Thor. I'll run off on that. They have this new synthesizer on here, which is pretty dope. And they have rack extensions in Reason now. So I'll a lot of times go to the Predator, and I'll just pull up something here, and I'll just totally change it up so I have different sounds on it. And it's really about just knowing your sound library, knowing what kind of synthesizers you have to work with, and where you want to take it. I think that sort of becomes the painting when it comes to the idea. You have all your tools here, and you sort of just swap them out for whatever you want to use. I think that's how you get the different sounds. I would assume, to have your differentiation and tracks and your different chord progressions and your music theory down, so you don't just run into the same patterns and end up making the same track. Although I find myself thinking I'm making a different track, and then I realize I'm making the same track.
Yeah, I mean, that does happen sometimes, but having a dialed-in template will make it easier for you to swap things in and out, because you'll know where you'll need to go, because it's already kind of like set up to be that way.
The things that are going to stay the most constant are the levels, which are mixed to these drums. Some of the processing is going to stay pretty much the same. We're using reverb on the snares and the clap layer, and we have another reverb here on this and a stereo width, and we just have like certain plugins that we know are going to work. We've high passed a lot of our different stuff on here, or low passed other things, and sidechain information that's going to pretty much react the same way, or different EQs as far as, when you come in here and look at this kick, a kick has a little EQ here, and it has a dip, a 6 dB dip around 200 to give space for the snare. So there's like a lot of different things that are going to stay constant in your workflow, and it's sort of learning what things stay constant and what things are more modular. And obviously they're going to change depending on what kind of sample you use, but as we said, if you make your own sample pack, which we're going to get to in a bit, you'll definitely know what you're working with a lot more than just having like this massive library of stuff, which before I had this, like, I think I was like a hoarder of samples. I was downloading tons and tons of sample packs just to like have it, and going into studios and picking up new stuff. And I think that at that point you're just like you're overloaded with stuff. You don't really know where to go. I know our intern has like over 100 different synths, and he's all on the new shit every week, and it's like I can't keep up with him. I don't really know what's going on. So I think it's really knowing your library, but we'll get to that in a second here.
This template was actually based off of this track that I designed, and the track was called Metroid, and I just put that name in there so I'll know quickly, like, oh, it's the Metroid template, and that's kind of in parentheses because that's sort of like the subtle name, but it's really just 808 template 03, and I have a bunch of templates, and I wanted to make multiple 808 templates so that not every 808 sounds the same. And 808s all kind of sound the same, but I still thought having some variety, because sometimes I want an 808 that's like really long, or like a short 808, or a more G. Jones type of 808, or like an 808 that has like a pitch dip. And so I kind of made certain templates that reflect like the type of 808s. There's not many types of 808s, but it's good to have those type of 808s in your template, and the name kind of helps me know like, oh, okay, so I feel like doing some pitch dipping 808s, so we're going to go to template 03.
I would say we have probably like 10 templates for different genres right now.
You can't simplify everything, because like if you could, then like robots would just be making music.
Which they will be soon.
Yeah, so it's going to happen soon.
We got a collab coming soon with iRobot. And the guy from, I forget his name, but he was like the cute one.
Oh, Wally?
Wally.
Yeah.
Got a collab with Wally. Coming out soon.